Hello, my dear learning enthusiasts. Welcome to CareerClimbers. In this video, we are going to have an extensive discussion on human values. I'm also going to explain you the definition of value and the difference between norm and value. And I'm also going to show you the previous questions asked from this particular topic. Overall, this is going to be the second lecture of your Ethics Game Changer series. Kindly like, share and subscribe this video because it would serve as a motivation for us to make quality content further. Moving on to our today's topic, that is human values, starting with the definition of value. So if you go by the literal meaning of value, it means that the word attached to something, right? As we are studying ethics here, so from the ethical perspective, value means the beliefs or principles to which people attach some importance. That's called value in the ethical perspective. Coming to the examples of values, that include honesty, justice, respect, equality, compassion, freedom, integrity and loyalty. So these are some of the values which we often hear about, these values in our day-to-day life. Coming to the difference between the norm and value. So value, most of the times it is looked from the individual perspective. That is, an individual considers certain beliefs or principles as important or desirable for him or her, right? Whereas norms are usually determined by the society. So value is driven from the individual, whereas norm is determined by the society. After following value for a certain period of time, value will become norm to that particular person. So value will also become norm after following certain period of time. When value gets intensified, so that particular value will become norm to that particular person. Coming to the value formation. So how values are formed? What are the sources behind the value formation of a particular person? So the very first institution or the agent as far as value formation is concerned, that is family. So family is the first educating unit of an individual. So apne families may be like we learn about teamwork, right? Mom she will perform certain tasks and father will take some of the responsibilities, and children, they are expected to perform certain functions. In this way, the division of labor, teamwork, democratic decision making, so all these things we can learn from the family itself. Apart from that, if your family members are gender sensitive, for example, बचपन में जो भी हमें सिखाते हैं, बचपन से जो भी हमें सिखाते हैं family में, that will either make you misogynist or that would make you gender sensitive. Okay, so अगर किसी के घर में बहुत ज्यादा stereotypical है and बहुत ज्यादा prejudices है gender को लेकर या discriminatory attitude है, so a child would most likely tend to adopt that attitude. He most likely get that value, right? So family is the first educating unit or the first institution which shapes the behavior of an individual. So whatever the values we attain from the family, they are very strong because the child learns it in the formative stage. So from the family, we can learn to adopt democratic decision making. So in later stages of life, we have to work in a team, right? So the people who can accommodate differences in their family, most likely they can work effectively in the teamwork also, in a good spirit, right? So decision making, democratic decision making, and again division of labor, we can learn from the family. And again, accommodating the differences, being sensitive to the elderly and the children, these things we can learn from our family itself. After family, a child would enter the school. Whatever is taught in your school or whatever is taught in your college as part of the curriculum, so that would also shape the value system of an individual. School में हम बहुत कुछ सीखते हैं, right? School is after all a micro unit of the society. If I'm a Hindu, if I'm going to a school, So there I meet my Muslim friends also, Christian friends also, Sikh friends also. So basically, I would learn to adopt that pluralistic ethos from the school itself. And the education curriculum may make you innovative also. So the values like innovative spirit, accommodative spirit, and scientific thinking. The quality education or the real education often promotes scientific temper in you. Okay, so from the school or the curriculum, we get scientific outlook, innovative spirit, and accommodative attitude also. So these are all the things. Apart from the knowledge, apart from the skills, we learn these values from the educational institutions, be it as a part of curriculum or through the peer group also. The next aspect in the value formation, that is religion. So every religion teaches some or other ethical norms or ethical standards. As I explained in my first video, there I explained that religion is also one of the sources as far as value system is concerned. Okay, so every religion teaches some or other ethical standards, right? For example, in Buddhism, it teaches us right speech, right action, okay, so right livelihood. So many things are there. So even in the Jainism, we have three Ratnas, and we have a quote called Ahimsa Paramo Dharmaha. So non-violence is the highest form of religion. So this kind of quotes you need to use in your answers if you're writing from the if you're writing in your ethics answer. So automatically your answer should be enriched with the examples. So the relationship between the religion and ethics I have explained in the earlier lecture. Please kindly watch that lecture as well. And coming to the Islam. So from the Islam we can learn about zakat. Zakat is donating 1/10 of one's wealth to the poor and the marginalized people. So, and coming to the humanity, humanity is also taught in every religion. And talking about Christianity, so Christianity teaches brotherhood, Christianity teaches modernity. So every religion has certain ethical component, right? So religion also shapes the value system of an individual. And the peer group, yes. So the people with whom you spend your time, the people with whom you share your ideas, they will also impact your value system. And the next agent, as far as value formation is concerned, that is media. Today we are living in the fast changing world. So social media, definitely it can have a profound impact on our value system. Day in and day out, whatever the content we consume through social media, it definitely influences our value system. Coming to the life experiences, yes, every individual in his evolution of his life, so he attains certain experiences. So those experiences also shapes the attitude of an individual, or these experiences would influence a person to acquire certain values. Coming to the definition of human values. So basically human values are those values which are at the core of being human. So every human is expected to follow certain values. Such values are called human values. So why human values are important? So because human being is not just a social animal. Human being is also a political animal. This was said by Aristotle, right? So as we live in the society, as we live with so many people, So automatically we are expected to follow certain values. Such values are called human values. What if we fail to follow human values? I'm going to explain that as well, and why human values are significant. So human values promote social cohesion. So because if we are following value called justice, if we are following value called equality, if we are following value called pluralism, if we are following value called egalitarianism, yes, as I already mentioned here, it equality, as I already mentioned it, egalitarianism, right? So basically, if we are just, if you follow equality in your day-to-day life, if you adopt pluralism, so automatically we don't witness communal clashes like what we have witnessed in the Manipur. We are witnessing bloodshed and the violence. Almost at least 130 people were killed in the Manipur. That's that's the ethnic conflict. So basically, our social cohesion is somewhere weakening. Somewhere there is a erosion of human values in our day-to-day life. So that's why today we are witnessing such a ethnic conflagration in the Northeast. And another reason why do we need human values? In order to promote sustainable development. So basically, we have to adopt a value called environmental stewardship. So we need to adopt environmental stewardship. Only then we can promote sustainable development. Today, we are witnessing climate change. Temperatures are rising like anything. And even we are witnessing flash floods. We are witnessing forest fires. Our sea levels are rising. And the people who are living in the small island states, they are forced to move from that particular place. So we should be utmost sensitive to the nature. We should promote environmental stewardship. So that is also one of the human values. So in order to protect our mother earth and our planet, so we need to follow environmental stewardship. That's the human value. And the third reason why we need to follow human values, in order to have a harmonious relationships. So be it in your family or be it in the society, we should be compassionate. We should be democratic enough to accommodate others' viewpoints or others' food system. Today, we are fighting over, food habits of particular religion. Today, we are fighting over, the clothing of a particular religion. So these things would happen only when we lack this kind of democratic ethos, basically. So for to make our society more harmonious, to make our society more peaceful, to make our society more prosperous, to make our society more stable, we need to follow human values. And the last factor why human values are important, because human values would act as a moral compass in your decision making. So as I mentioned in the initial part of this lecture, values regulate and guide the human behavior. As values regulate and guide the human behavior, they act as a compass, moral compass to that particular person. So that's why we need to follow human values. And coming to the classification of human values, the very first thing, that is universal values. There are certain values that transcend cultures, that transcend religions, that transcend political borders. Such values are called universal values. So examples of universal values are truth, justice, equality. So by and large, these values are followed in each and every society, and proclaimed by each and every religion. Coming to the next value, that is instrumental value, or else we will talk about terminal value. So what is terminal value? Terminal value is the value which determines, these value determine the ultimate objective of a person. For example, Gautam Buddha, to him, attaining nirvana was the ultimate objective of one's life. To Mahatma Gandhi, following non-violence, it's the terminal value. That is the ultimate value of that particular person. And talking about instrumental values. So instrumental values are basically the means to attain terminal values. Okay, so Mahatma Gandhi, he wanted to attain independence, but however, the means should be truthful and non-violent. So basically, instrumental values are the means to attain the terminal values, basically. So basically, instrumental values, they act as a channel to attain terminal values. Fine, hope you are following. And coming to the intrinsic values. So intrinsic values are basically, they are internally driven. Okay, for example, pursuing a hobby. For example, I have a hobby to read books, to read self-help books. So though it may not give me any immediate benefit as such, but however, it is more internally driven. Okay, such values are called intrinsic values. Extrinsic values are those values which are externally driven, which are driven from the extraneous agents. Sometimes to get a reward, we follow certain values. Such values are called extrinsic values, either to get reward or to get to get some gifts, or to get some prizes, or to get attain certain grades. So examples could be like students who study hard to get extra grades. Okay, so that you can quote this as an example for the extrinsic values. Whereas the second example is participating in the competition to win that particular competition. So that's the extrinsic value. And coming to the preferential value, so an individual, as I explained, the value varies from person to person. To me, courage may be the highest value in the hierarchy of value system. But for you, courage may not be the highest value in your value hierarchy. So an individual prefers one value over the other values. Such values are called preferential values. So preferential values vary from person to person. Hope you got the classification of human values. And talking about human values and the Constitution of India. So human values are embedded in our Indian Constitution also. If we read our preamble of the Indian Constitution, you can see justice, social, political, and economic justice. In the preamble, liberty is also mentioned. Liberty of thought, liberty of expression, liberty of faith, and liberty of worship. These are also mentioned in our preamble. And equality. This is also explicitly mentioned in our preamble. Equality of thought, equality, in providing opportunities. So that is prescribed in our Constitution. So apart from that, fraternity, it is also enshrined in the preamble. Coming to the fundamental rights. So in fundamental rights, we learn to respect others' freedoms also, like right to religious freedom we have from Article 25 to 28. So basically, this Article 25 to 28, it teaches us the importance of secularism, right? So the state has to ensure these rights and equality, right to equality also, and protecting people from exploitation and forced labor. These are mentioned in our fundamental rights. So fundamental rights are basically meant to ensure the political democracy. Coming to the other source for the human values, as far as Indian Constitution is concerned, that is fundamental duties. Respecting our Constitution, respecting our national flag, and promoting brotherhood, fostering scientific temper, fostering spirit of inquiry. These are all values are very much mentioned in our Indian Constitution. Coming to the previous questions which are asked from this particular topic. So these are all the questions. Like, one of the tests of integrity is complete refusal to be compromised. Explain with reference to a real life example. The crisis of ethical values in modern times is traced to a narrow perception of good life. Third question is, social values are more important than economic values. Discuss the growth of above statement with examples in the context of a inclusive growth of a nation. So these are all the three questions which are asked from this particular topic. There are a few more questions asked from this particular topic, but that would make this video lengthy. So that's why I mentioned a few questions for the sake of your understanding. Please write answers for these questions and send to our Telegram group. We will try to evaluate one or two answers, and we will give you feedback. So you should try to write answers and try to solve case studies. So ethics, though it seems very common, though it seems very general, but trust me, it's not. In examination, you can't complete the paper in the limited time frame. So that's why don't neglect this subject. This is going to be the make or break paper for you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe our channel so that it would encourage us to make more quality content, to provide quality content to you. Thank you. Thank you once again. Bye bye.